Hello YouTubers and humans alike. I've got my two brothers in this room. One of them's playing the iPod, the other one's playing with other bionicles I'm not using. So if you hear any noises, it's them. Now I'm going to be reviewing Destynax. He has recently received an even bigger upgrade, probably one of his biggest so far, except for, well, this other one. His creation, I guess. His creation is probably the only bigger upgrade he's ever received. Now, to begin with the review, I present to you, ladies and gentlemen, for your consideration, Makuta Destynax. Yeah, you see what I did there? Okay, I'm not going to review the weapons because you can just look in my other review for that. I'm just going to say that this is a 7 out of 10 as far as weapons go, and this is a 9 out of 10 as far as weapons go. Somebody once told me on BZPower that his hands were small. It's very true. His hands are small. However, I just want it, I wouldn't want it any other way. It just looks good on him, you know? And he probably uses his Makuta mind powers anyways. Got this little axle rod sticking out here where this attaches onto his hand. I like the system. It used to be a lot worse actually. His arm... Okay, well this used to be a Hordika neck, this is now a Glatorian neck, which is much better for posability. However, it doesn't look too good because it's got a little free hole in there. A little pinhole. His lower arm, it looks good from most angles except for this one. It's, however, better than Takanuva Mystica's, who I am going to be dissing a lot in this review. Probably. You can see that it actually has holes in here. Like, it has two gaps. I honestly could not find a better system for his arm. Not yet, except for Takanuva Mystica arm. Except it's not a better system, that would be a downgrading, and I wouldn't be able to attach that awesome weapon. So yeah, this lower arm isn't a 10 out of 10. And neither is his upper arm. However, it has one little detail about it that makes everything worth it. Now this part here is full of gaps. It's really gappy. See that? I mean, you could just see right through it. However, its posability is simply put amazing. It can just move in mostly realistic except for that. That's the only unrealistic move it can do. It can't get past its shoulder, and it can't go too far back either. It's basically got realistic human attachments, and it kind of reminds me of the Fallen from Transformers 2, because the way it's attached has the gap there. And the best part of it is it can shrug. Name a bionicle that is capable of shrugging. Fall before Destynax's shrugging power. Oh my goodness! Also, the piece that I use back here is vastly superior to Takanuva Mystica's 90-degree bent Matoran limb that was there. Once again, better posability. On top of the arm, here, stick another book on this. On the top of the arm, you get this little Ignika armor plate here. It used to be a Nuva armor, which didn't quite look as good. This is just the best piece I could find. Unfortunately, I had to take it off with my brother's mock, and he still hates me for it. No comment, please. Moving along, I think I will go to the wings at last. Now, from the front, they are extremely imposing and dangerous looking. However, once you look at them in detail, they're not so amazing. It's basically an ordinary leg with a Vaison leg here, or Paraka arm, whatever, here. And got a little Ignika thigh pad, and then you get in a Toamata neck that attaches to a Lua Nuva blade. Then moving along, my brother came up with this system that actually is posable, unlike the Lua Nuva blade there. This is the Lua Fantoka blade, this time. It doesn't wobble or anything. Well, it wobbles a little bit, just a little bit. But it still gets the job done rather well. still moving along, you get another Lua blade, still a Fantoko blade, with a Mantax blade attached to a Vaki head. Now let's see how many people have done that on a wing. Ha! Posability of the wing is rather nice, however, seeing as I used Hordika heads there, that's not actually too great. I mean, well, it limits the posability of it. Now, the great thing about this is this thing, because it can just pop right off. See that? You can just pop the wings off for non-flight mode. Except that he doesn't actually fly using the wings, they're just there to look cool because he has a Makuta virus. Okay, now, initially, if you watched the review before, you'll know that there was actually supposed to be a metal plate here that makes it look fuller. So that's a little problem that I'm going to have to overcome during this review. Oh crud, only 4 minutes left. So moving right along, this Paraka torso here, which is pretty great actually. It allows more, it allows for the posability here, and it also adds a bit more silver in an otherwise almost entirely non-silver back. Now you can see that his body is basically two Paraka torsos stuck together with several Technic pieces. Also, his neck is a little unique in that the axle rods don't actually go in entirely here. They're only about halfway in here, because you get a little bit of red sticking out there. I kind of like it, and it's a good system to keep his head from wobbling. Now, moving on to the head, he's basically got a Fenrak build for a head, only it's, well, the basic build is a Fenrak head. However, it's shorter. He uses a shorter piece. And under his jaw is this, another thing I fixed during this review. It's his chin, which is a Rahaga Norik head. Now, it doesn't open anymore. It's stuck shut. That's one of the things I fixed. Now on the back of his head, you got these two new blades. The way I attach them is actually pretty dang mediocre. However, it just looks cool in combination with the wings. Doesn't it? Initially I made it like a sort of Makuta crown thing, but my brother didn't like it because of the way I had to attach everything. It was just bulky. And so yeah. Moving along, got a Borok cowl shield in here that looks great. And an Inaika, a Matoro Inaika chest armor, which is not attached to an Inaika chest, which is great. The problem with it is that there's these two little pins sticking out. They actually stick out just about by half one length, which is a bit of a problem, but it doesn't look bad. Then you got these two Bordak staffs. Who has ever used those for armor before? Really? They attach onto this ball joint here? It's perfect! I mean, yeah. And, well, the problem is that this thing opens up. Maybe it's like to shoot out a Shadow Claw or something. I think I'm going to cut to the chase now. I mean, I've already reviewed the whole thing, and I only have about 1 minute left to film. I mean, well, to put it on YouTube. I hate that time limit. So yeah, if you want to know more about him, just look at my other review. You'll get the rest of the review of his body, his back, and his legs and feet. But I've gotten over the most important part, which is all of his updates, because I haven't changed anything below this level here. So yeah, out of 10, I give him a 10. Or like 9.8. I think the only mock I've ever seen that was bigger is probably Kylord's Kaizoron. That's probably the only mock I've ever seen that's bigger than Destynax. Well, actually on the Bionicle Gallery, which he was once the 3rd place on, I saw like probably two things that were bigger than him. Anyways, so yeah, this is Destynax, the awesomest Makuta alive. He now is no longer in Guardians of the Red Star because I gave up on that epic a long time ago. He is now in Reawakening, my still continued epic, which is on BZPower. You can look up Kihurito of Plants because that's who I am in that video, in that epic of Total Plants. Yeah, so that's my new story, and it's awesome. He's not actually in the story yet, but he's going to be a pretty important character.
In Reawakening?
Yes. Okay. Anyways, so yeah, bye-bye.